Okay, this is the last part to the train engine. Um, the last thing that we'll make after this is the track, but this is the last part that we need to make in order to assemble the train. This is called the cow catcher. There's a lot going on with this one. There's a bunch of different commands that we haven't used yet that we're going to use for this one. So let's go in, open up a new part, file, save as, initials underscore cow underscore catcher, and save it. Alright, so what we need to do first is we need to sketch out the bottom of the train. And it, or not the train, the cow catcher. It looks like this. There's a bottom part and a top part, and what we need to do is we need to make the bottom part first, dimension it, offset a plane, and then we're going to make the top directly on top of it, and we're going to loft it. So in order for us to do this correctly, we need to go back here, and the bottom dimensions are here. It's 1.8 in width. These little side lines are 0.25, and then from the point here to the back of it is 1. And then we need to center this at 0.9. Okay, so we need to go 1.8, 0.25 twice, 1, and 0.9. So this is 1.8. Let's start out with the overall width. And then these two on the side are 0.25. And we'll use the equal command here, equals. From this point to the back is 1. And then we have to put it in the center at 0.9. Now, I know it's hard for you guys to see whether my sketch is fully constrained, but yours should be completely green now. If it's not, you can grab it and see where it's moving, but it shouldn't be moving. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to finish, and we need to go plane, and we're going to offset plane from. Actually, let's just go right in here into the origin, and the plane that lays directly flat on it, we're going to click that plane, and it has an arrow. We want to offset it the height of the cow catcher. The height of it is 0.75. So we're going to offset this 0.75. Now, we want to create our second sketch on this plane. In order for us to see where the lines are underneath this plane, we have to project geometry of this line, and this line. When we do that, then we can make sure that we start on this back line, because if we don't start directly on this back line, it's not going to go straight up. It's going to have an angle, and when you try to do the cavities in the front of it, these right here, you won't be able to select that face if you don't start it directly on that back line. So the top is 1.2, 0.25, and it is 0.75 to the front of it and 0.6 to center it. So what we need to do is, this is 1.2. 1.8 minus 1.2 is 0.6, but to center it, we need to take 0.6 divided by 2, so we need to dimension from here to here at 0.3. So let's make this whole thing here, 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 and here. And we want to dimension from here to here at 1.2, and from here to here is 0.3. From here to here is 0.75. And to put this directly in the center, we want to make this dimension 0.6. Now we have both of our sketches. Actually, I forgot a couple dimensions. We want to do this one, 0.25, and then equals this side equals this side. Now, these lines should be parallel to each other. If they're not, and yours don't look parallel, then you did something wrong. So when you go to finish, we want to loft, we want to click to add, and we want to select that sketch, click to add that sketch, and you should see it lofting up. You finish, and it lofts. Now, the first thing I want you to do is make sure that you can highlight these faces. If you can't highlight these faces, then this top line is not directly on that back line. So what we want to do now is we want to offset, create 2D sketch on this face, and we want to offset, I got to project geometry of the lines. Project geometry of this line, this line, this line, and this line. Then we want to offset here, and the offset I believe is 0.1. Yep, 0.1. So when we do that and we give it this dimension from here to here at 0.1, it offsets it and it makes the whole thing all the way around 0.1. Then we want to finish this sketch, and we want to extrude this in where we're removing material, and I think this is an extrusion of 0.05. So let's make this 0.05. Okay. Now, what we can do here, instead of doing another offset, is we can do a plane in the middle and we can just mirror that over. So how we can do that is we can do a midplane between, actually let's do a midplane, or let's just offset. Let's offset a plane. So from here to here was 1.8. So we can take this plane here and we can go to offset plane at 0.9. That puts it directly in the center. Now what we can do is we can mirror this feature here over that plane, and then we have that on the other side. Now what you want to do is what's called a shell command. The shell command is going to hollow out the whole inside of it. So what we want to do is the shell command is going to be 0.1. So what we want to do is go back here and we want to go to the bottom of it and we want to shell, highlight the bottom and make that 0.1, click OK, and it should hollow the whole thing out. If your extrusion here goes all the way through, then you made the extrusion here too deep. Now the last thing we need to do is put those 3 posts on the back so we can connect it to the front of the train. So we want to create a 2D sketch on this back face here, and we want to take 3 circles and put these circles kind of in the middle of nowhere. Don't attach it to any of those lines. If you attach it to those lines, it locks it in on that line and you can't move it. So what we want to do is we want to dimension those posts at where is the dimension for that post? It's a 1.25 extrusion. The post is 0.125 in diameter. So let's go back here and dimension this at 0.125. Then we can go equals this equals this equals this equals this. Now this is 0.125. This one is 0.125. this is 0.275. So these two from here to here is 0.275, and from here to here is 0.275. Now, this one here is 0.625 from the center of this circle, and it's 0.625 from the bottom. So we want to go from here to here at 0.625, and then from here to here at 0.625. It's important that we have all these dimensions correctly, because if they're not correct, when you try to put it on the front of your train, it's not going to work. So what we want to do is we want to finish, we want to extrude this one, and this one, and I believe that is 0.125. There, now we got those three, and all we have to do is put chamfers on the end of them, and those chamfers are 0.01 times times 45 degrees. So we want to chamfer an edge and an angle, this face, that one at 0.01, apply, this face, that edge, apply, this face, that edge, apply. Alright, so we got our cow catcher done. Let's go give that a color. Let's go with the stainless steel. File, let's go to Save As, make sure it's in there. And then File, Save.